Hi, wonderful people. I hope you guys are doing okay. I'm still your friend, the Little Woman. Welcome to my tutorial for today, and I hope I am meeting you guys in good condition. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your likes. Thank you so very much for everything you have done for me on this channel. I appreciate all of you. And if you are new to this channel, please, I welcome you to this channel also. Feel free to subscribe by hitting that red icon. And when you do that, also touch the notification bell so that whenever I upload, you get notifications. With that said, we are going to our tutorial today, which is going to be a case plate blouse with a stand-up collar and sleeve, okay? And I'll be using this Ankara fabric for it. I already cut out the skirt. The skirt is going to be a short pencil skirt. So I'll be using, I had 3 yards, so I removed the skirt. I'll be using the remaining for our top, okay? Before I forget, I want to advise all of us, please do not give any room or condone any kind of evil. It helps you live a happier life. So let's just hit the cutting table. Okay, so I'll be doing the front panel first of all, which is a bustier. And I'd like to add zip at the front instead of at the back. Okay. So what it means is I'll be adding my zip allowance to my shoulder measurement. And I'll be using a zipper allowance of 1.5 inches. If I'm adding it to my shoulder measurement, which is 8, it will give us 9.5. I've made a similar tutorial before. So here is 9.5. My half length is 16 inches. So I'll be adding 1 extra inch, making it 17. Okay. My shoulder to bust measurement is 12 inches. I'll add 1/2 inch to it. Okay. Now my under bust is usually 3 inches away from my shoulder to bust. So I'll just add the 3 inches here. I'll also go up by 3 inches. Alright. I'll need to remove my 1.5 inches for zipper allowance so that we don't get confused. Okay. Now every of my measurement will start from this line because this is a zipper allowance. Alright. So my nipple to nipple measurement is 4 inches. My sewing allowance is usually 1/4 inch. So I'll be measuring 4¼ inch here. I'm starting from this point and I'm taking it down to my waistline. Okay. Now with that done, I'm going to come down by 4 inches on my shoulder. Okay, which is here. I really hope you are seeing all these markings. Okay, so I will now make my connection from here, from this 4½ inches to this point. I already have my line down. Okay. Now at the neckline also, I'm going to move in by 3 inches from my shoulder slope, which is here. And then at my armhole area, I'll go down by 1 inch. It depends on what you want to use for your shoulder slope. For this, I'll be using 1 inch. Okay. And then for the volume of my neckline, I'll use 4 inches for the front. For my neckline, I'm going to be maintaining this 3 inches here. Okay, so I'll just connect it. Alright. So with this done now, I'll also proceed to cut. Okay. Okay. Now with the center front cut out, I'm going to be using one of it to cut the 2 sides. I also put my notch. Okay. You make sure you have up to 3 inches on this other side. Tracing out the shape. And then the notch. I'm taking 2.5 inches outwards. Okay. So I'm taking my line to meet the 2.5 inches and then down to my under bust. Okay. Now I'll place my body measurement. First, I will need to still impute my armhole, which is 9 inches, which is here. Okay. Now I'm placing my bust measurement. This was 1.5 inches for zip. I'm putting it so that we don't get confused. Okay. Now my bust measurement is 42 divided into 4 is 10.5, which is here. Okay. And then my allowance of 2 inches, which is optional. I'll just use 1.5 inches, which will still be too much because of this bulge we have here. Okay. If you feel like not adding any allowance, it is just perfect. But for my waist measurement, which is 36 divided into 4 is 9, I'll be adding my allowance because there is no bulge at the waist area. You see, this point is straight, there is no bulge here, so I'll be adding my allowance. I'll be using 2.5 inches. Okay. So now this is what we have. I'll just cut. This is actually one. I'm going to still place it to cut the second one. Okay. So this is it. I'll still use it to cut the second piece. Okay, so here are the 2 sides. We'll now go over to the back panel. Okay, so for my back panel, I'll just fold into 2. We're not going to be adding zip at the back since it's already at the front. I'll just take my shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches. My armhole is 9 inches. Okay. Now my half length is 16 inches. I added 1 inch extra. My bust measurement is 42 divided into 4 is 10.5. I'll add 2.5 inches for allowance. My waist measurement is 36 divided into 4 is 9. I'll be adding 3.5 inches extra, 1 for that. Okay. I'll be taking away my 3 inches for shoulder slope. For my shoulder slope, I'll use 1 inch. That was what I used at the front. Okay. Now for the volume of my neckline, I'll use 1 inch. Remember at the front our neckline was 3 inches, so I'm still maintaining that 3 inches, but for the volume I just took down 1 inch. Okay, so I'll just cut. For my kiss pleat, I'll use the length of 10 inches. My actual length is 8 inches. The extra 2 is for the fold and for the seam allowance. Okay, so I'll be measuring 10 inches. Okay, now I've cut out my material for the pleat. You can see this is 10 inches, okay, for the length, and for the width it is 3 yards and 11 inches. Okay, and for the whole of the fabric I used, like I said before, it was 3 yards. Then I had to cut out the pencil skirt for it, and then the remaining was what I used for the top. All right, so for the sleeve, now it's going to be like a sleeveless. This is just going to be like, the sleeve is going to be like a bat wing sleeve, but a very short version of it. I folded my fabric into 2. Now this is the folded edge, okay, and then my armhole is 9 inches. Front and back 18 inches, but since my fabric is on fold, I'll still maintain the 9 inches. I hope you see the way I placed my tape. Okay, here is 9 inches, but I'll be adding 1 extra inch for allowance. This is going to go inside. Okay, and then for the length of the sleeve, I'll use 4.5 inches. I won't stand this straight, it will still come to meet this 10 inches here. Okay, so I'll move like this. Okay, so this is for our sleeve. Another way you can do this is to just stand it straight. You stand it straight, okay, but I don't want to stand it straight, so I'll just proceed to cut. Okay, so this is 1. I will now use it to cut the second sleeve. But if you don't want this curvy effect, you can leave your own straight. All right. Okay, these are the two sleeves when opened up, but when unfold, it is like this. Okay. So as for the collar, it's going to come after we have joined the front and the back bodies or panel together. Okay, before we now measure the circumference of the neck and then cut out the collar for it. All right. Okay, now as we are done with our cutting, the next thing will be to cut out the wooding for the front, since it's a bustier. Okay, we'll now cut out the front, the wooding for the front, and the lining for all of it. Okay, also I'll be lining all these fabrics using a cotton interlining. Okay, I'll be using it all over the body for both the front, the back, and the skirt. Okay, I'll be using this as the interlining for all of it. And then for the sleeve, I'll be using this paper interlining for it to enable it stand well. Also for the collar, we're going to be using this as well. So I'll just proceed to cut out the lining for all of this, the wooding, the interlining. Okay, neatly I have used my cotton interlining first. Like I said, I was going to do it all over the body. This is the back, these are the two fronts, this is the side, and then the sleeve. Okay, these also are the lining, so I'll just proceed to line it. Like I earlier explained in one of my videos, for this front, I'm going to be joining two of these separately, these two separately. I'll do the same thing with the lining, and then bringing the lining together with the fabric, I will line each of the two sides separately. Okay. Now I have lined both the front and the back panel. I've also inserted the dart at the back panel. You see, I lined the armhole area also of both the front and the back, and then I left the neckline open. I hope you see it. From the shoulder to the neckline, it's open. Same thing with the front panel. Okay. The next thing will be to join both the front and the back panel at the shoulder like this. I hope you see what I did to join them at the shoulder. Okay, when I do that, we will now take the measurement of the circumference of the neckline. With it, we will now cut our collar. All right. Now for the lower part of our top, that's the kiss pleat. I also used an interlining on it first. I will also be cutting using this hard net on it also, because I don't want the pleat to appear flat. I want it to stand a little bit, so I'll be using this hard net also for it. I'm going to cut using this measurement. Okay, so when I cut it, I will now attach it on this body before we put the lining. I hope you understand. When I cut this, I'm going to place it at the wrong side of this piece of fabric I cut out. Okay, I will attach it at the wrong side, then I will line it and then use the lining to cover it up. Also, these are our sleeve. I use the fabric as the lining also. Now I've joined them at the shoulder, so we'll now take the measurement of the circumference of our neckline. Now you see I notched this place. This is for our zip allowance. Okay, so I'm starting my measurement from here. In case you don't want your collar to start from this exact place, you can move in by either 1 inch depending on how far away you want it from your zip. Okay, but me, I think I'll be moving in by 1 inch or half an inch, but I'll just subtract it after I've done my measurement. Okay, so I'll have to measure round to get the neckline circumference. This is 18.5. Okay, now if I'm to move half an inch away from this zip area, I will now have 17.5. that is half on each side. Okay, so I'll measure out, say, 19 inches. The width of 19 inches, which is here. Okay, and then for the length of the collar, I'll use 1.5 inches. When unfold, as you can see, I folded the fabric, so 1.5 inches for the length, and for the width I use 19 inches, so that by the time I sew it, what I will have left will be the exact measurement of our neck circumference. So I'll measure 1.5 inches all the way through. Okay, so this is 1.5 inches, 19 inches. I'm still going to fold it again. Okay, so this is 1.5 inches here. But then at this end, this is the folded end. This side is not folded. At this end, it doesn't have to be 1.5 inches. Okay, I'm going to be making it 1 inch, so that it goes like this. Okay, so here is 1.5 inches, but at the end it is 1 inch. Okay, so it's something like this. I'll be using 17.5 inches. This is 16, which is somewhere here. Okay, now if you like, you can leave your own straight at the end, I mean the two ends. Okay, remember the front of our top is split into two. Okay, one end for each of the two sides. Okay, now if you want, you can leave it straight like this. If you like, you can still curve it a little. Now go with the slight curve. Okay, now having done this, now I'm going to cut out an interlining, place it here and glue it together. Okay, as I've glued my interlining on it, I'll just go to my machine, turn it over this way, and then close up the two ends. Okay, when I close it, I'll still turn it over again and close up the rough edge. So as I've closed it up, this is what we have, and this here is the midpoint. I also notched the midpoint on our bodies, which is this place. Okay, so all I need to do now is making sure that the two midpoints meet each other. I will now attach the collar across our neckline. I'll be attaching from the right side, not from the wrong side. So now, as you can see, I've attached the collar. I hope you see it. You see, my 1/2 inch is still there intact. I hope you see it. Okay, I'll proceed to use this bias to close up this rough edge. Okay, now after I'm done closing it up, I only needed to tell you what I want to do here. The next thing will be to insert our sleeve. Okay, first you have to determine the midpoint. You have to attach the sleeve like this, making sure that the midpoint is lapping or is perfectly fit at this joint area of the shoulder. Okay, it has to intersect very well like this. But here you need to decide whether you are going to move in a little bit or you are going to be putting it like this. Okay, you have to maybe try it on your body to determine which one suits you better, whether you are putting it very close to this armhole area or you are moving in a little bit. Okay, so for me, I think I'll move in by 1 inch, which is here. So I'll place my sleeve like this and then sew it. As I sew, I curve it and guide it to make sure it gets to this armhole area. Of course, it's going to extend more than my body measurement. So I will guide it like this. Okay. I will do the same thing at the other side. All right. Right now I've attached the sleeves, as you can see them. Okay, the next thing I will do is to use my pin to hold the two fronts together and then close up the two sides using the body measurement I earlier marked out. Okay, as I've joined the two sides together using my body measurement, the next thing will be to now attach our kiss plate, which already I have lined. Okay, now this is our midpoint at the back. I also notched the midpoint on our pleat. Okay, which is at this point. I hope you see it. All I need to do is to fix. First of all, I need to arrange this fabric to make sure it is contained at this waistline. Okay, placing it like so, you start to kiss. So I'll first arrange it neatly and hold it with my pin, and then I'll tell you how many inches I took for the pleat. But this is how I will be pleating it. I hope you saw what I did. Let me repeat again. Like this, and then you grab the other one to kiss the first one. So I'll proceed to do so at the waistline, and then I'll tell you how many inches I used for the pleat. Right, for the pleat, I took in 4 inches. I hope you see it. 4 inches. When you open it up, it's going to give you 8 inches for one pleat. Okay, and then for the zipper side, I also took in 2 inches. You see, the zipper side has to kiss with the other zipper area side. Okay, so at this end, remember we started from the midpoint at the back. At this end, you will still need to kiss it, but it's going to be just 1 as against 2. Okay, for this end is going to be just 1, so that the other one at the other side will now complement it. What I mean is, if I'm to place this one like this, it means for the other side I'm going to place like this, so that at the end of the day the two of them kisses each other. So I'll now go to the machine and pleat all of them. Okay, now this is what we have after the pleat. Okay, you see the way this is the effect of the hard net I put inside. All right, the last thing should be to just insert a zip. All right, so I'll just go straight ahead and do just that. Okay people, this is the end of our tutorial. I hope you can see how beautiful our product came out. Check out the back, and you can also see the effect of the net I put inside the plates. Thank you for being with me till the end. I appreciate you guys a lot. And if you happen to be new to my channel, I am the Needle Woman. Please don't fail to subscribe by hitting that red icon on your screen and also touching the notification bell. Till we meet in my next tutorial, don't ever forget that the Needle Woman loves you from the bottom of my heart. Take very good care of yourself and bye.